I don't know if you're counting, but it has been 40 years at least. What at the beginning was intended to be a free rule set for people to buy more miniatures and use them for their fantasy battles ended up being a worldwide phenomenon. And I'm not being sarcastic here, it was. One day back in the 80s, somebody decided that collecting and painting small metal representations of fantasy figures was a worthy endeavor. That dude's name was none other than Brian Ansell. And because of him and the likes of Halliwell and Rick Priestley, I started playing Warhammer Fantasy in the 90s. But I have a confession to make. I've never played 5th edition Warhammer Fantasy. I know what you're thinking, I am full of but it's true. I've always loved the looks and feels of the Middlehammer era, and although I played a couple of games in 4th edition, 5th edition, I never even touched it. I'm sorry, guilty as charged. But before I even roll the first dice in Warhammer the Old World, this needs to be fixed. And this is where my friend Pevida comes into play.
Sonríe, Pevida. Hostia, se me da muy mal.
Joder, tío. No hace falta que... No te muevas.
Se te oye los labios de practicar, tío.
So come with me to Asturias, northern Spain, and let's get this fixed as soon as possible. Buckle up, brush lickers, because it's going to be a wild ride. Welcome to my house in the mountains, lost in the north side of Spain. This is where our game and story are gonna take place.
If I told you how excited I am right now, you wouldn't believe it.
If only I hadn't told you already.
Somehow I managed to convince one of my friends, Pevida, to play a game of 5th edition Warhammer Fantasy with me. I haven't played a game of fantasy in such a long time that I don't even remember how the phases go. Not only do I have to learn all the rules again and prepare a list to play against Pevida, but I also have to prepare the table where we're gonna be playing the game. And all of this has to be done in 2 days.
So this means that I have to prepare the room where we're going to be playing at, the table where we're gonna be playing at, because the table that I have doesn't work. And also I have to create an army list, and I have to learn all the rules from 5th edition, which I've never played. And I have 48 hours to do all these. Oh my god! If you're a veteran player, you probably have forgotten about this sensation, which is playing for the first time an edition of Warhammer Fantasy. You don't want to make any mistakes because forgetting a special rule or making a maneuver in the wrong way, well, might make your opponent think that you are actually cheating.
¿Estos pueden disparar o no pueden disparar a través de estos? Yo no me acuerdo de los obstáculos.
Yo creo que va a dar cobertura ligera si disparas a través de él.
Ah, eso
menos
sí.
uno.
Vale.
Pero puedes mover, te pegas a él
Y tengo menos uno
y
también.
tienes menos uno por el movido, pero no por el obstáculo.
Pues tú que corres mucho, cabrón.
No, buen día, las elías.
If you win, you want to win fair and square, and if you lose, well, you need to find an excuse and something to blame.
Espera.
¿Qué?
Al inicio del turno, si tienes tropas enemigas huyendo, o sea,
Ah, es verdad.
el turno.
Pánico.
Pánico. ¡Oh, yeah!
Cago en mi puta vida. El mago no pasa. Y estos también, ¿no?
Si hay 10 centímetros, mira, a ver.
Sí, sí, sí.
¡Oh, yeah! Con el general.
Sí, tío.
Es que es una mierda esta edición. Muy grande.
And I have played my share of different editions of Warhammer Fantasy, and I've liked each one of them for different reasons, but deciding which one is the best? Well, ask any 2 different Warhammer players, and chances are that you're gonna get 2 different editions. Everybody has their own opinion about which one was the best, and it's all about minutiae. Small things, really. Sometimes not that small anyways. So for instance, we have Camp, I like things flying high, versus Camp, that, no, I hate things flying high and destroying my gun line second turn.
Si es arpías. Aquí mismo. Mira que punkis.
Qué guapas, tío.
Pues mola muchísimo estas minis. Las arpías vuelan alto.
Se puta, ya sé lo que me hace las arpías. Son zorras.
A few moments later.
Then there is the other camp over here who love having cards for everything. Magic objects, magic winds, spells, etc. They love all that cardboard everywhere.
Pues... magia.
Tira. A ver.
8.
Bueno, pues 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 y 8.
¿Estas son las mías?
Sí,
¿Y me las puedo guardar?
depende, si dice que te la puedes guardar, sí.
Ah, vale. Llegan 30 y no llego a nada.
Pues vaya tontería, ¿no?
Yo qué sé, tío.
Puta mierda de mierda. Pues ya está.
Ya está.
Hala.
¿Viste? Si yo juego ping pong.
Versus the camp over here who says, no, screw that, I will use dice and just note down on my army list what objects we have. Save the planet, maybe, you know, less paper. Also, there is camp pre-measure versus no pre-measurement. I had forgotten that you cannot pre-measure anything on 5th edition. I'm so used to 8th edition pre-measuring everything that, oh my gosh, this is gonna be tough. This camp usually is comprised of people who can measure things very well with their eyes. And they seem to be very quite aligned on a 1-to-1 ratio with carpenters. And this side is people who just pre-measure everything, there's no questions asked, just roll the dice and whatever happens, happens. There are less arguments on this side, honestly. Believe me, there are all kinds of different arguments, bigger, smaller armies, the point costs of things, if this edition of High Elves is better than this edition of High Elves, or if Dark Elves suck because of Gapthorpe. Let's get on with it, because at the end of the day, it's just minutiae. Yeah, rules are different. Quite different. Small things, really. I think I'm gonna love it. Minutiae. So seriously, how will you decide which one of the Warhammer Fantasy editions is the best? And there are 4 parameters over here that I will consider the most important to deciding which one is the best Warhammer Fantasy edition. On this one, let me tell you what I think about 5th edition. This kind of imagery is what makes 5th edition so iconic. 5th edition is peak Middlehammer nostalgia. These books are beautiful. You are not interested in the game, but you still like the lore and to get the vibe of the setting back then, this is a must-have book. Well, that has been quite refreshing, but now I have to create an army list, and that is going to take a while because I'm not good at this. In the days of 4th and 5th edition, well, the internet was not as common as it is nowadays. Which means that whenever you got your army book, well, you will spend a few hours just trying to figure out the most broken combos for your next battle. And usually building your lists will be about what do you have in your collection, and good luck with that.
For instance, right now, I'm trying to make my army list, and one of the things that shocked me is how expensive musician and standard bearers are compared to later editions. In later editions, you just added a few points, like 10 or something like that, and they could carry a drum or a flag. Here, they cost double the points of the miniature from the regiment that they belong to. Unit champions go to the character pool, which is 50% of the whole army, but they cost a lot of points, and they also can carry with them one magic item. So I think the trade-off is quite interesting. I don't know if it actually works. High elves are very expensive, and I don't think this army is going to be big, which is very scary because I'm used to carrying a lot of units with a few ranks on them. And here I'm like bare bones, 2 ranks, just a few units.
And if you could afford it, you will include in that army list whatever was the most birdy WAHT thing that you could get access to. Win at all costs. Because you know what? Who needs to make friends playing Warhammer?
Pero un engendrati del caos.
Engendrati. Ese es Sauron.
Sí, Sauron.
Chan chan chan, chan chan chan, bang bang.
The halfling's leaf has clearly slowed your
Y
mind.
por arte de batalla
Chachi piluris.
más corto de labios, o sea que la peana es más. Es como la de un caballo.
Que va a cargar con esto a esto, 30 centímetros.
Sí,
30 centímetros.
30 centímetros.
¿Tú crees que hay 30 centímetros ahí? Yo creo que
No, que me hago 30, cargo 60.
Ah, coño, ¿verdad? Qué barbaridad, ¿eh?
Qué barbaridad más bárbara,
Pues...
There can be no victory.
Eso, pero eso mata mucho, ¿no?
Bien,
Esa cosa.
sí. La armadura tiene uno más.
Uno más.
Porque
Pues,
sí, lleva la armadura de hierro meteórico, esta cada 2 más montado.
2 armas de mano.
Sí.
Madre mía.
And elected the way of pain!
Pues habrá que huir. No te jode.
Fly, you fools!
But nowadays, every time a new book drops, or even before, because there are all these influencers getting, you know, the free rule books just to get some review copies, I hate you with strong Spanish passion, I swear to God. It takes forever for my books to get to where I live.
Vaya mal. Vaya mal. Todo mal.
And these people have been investing in decent amounts of time and attention into the books just to find the most broken combinations. And they will post them on all these freaking forums like Reddit or X or whatever, just to show you what you can do with a book and get some brownie internet points. Shame on you. Also, thank you, because that saves a lot of time. This is where I expect to play my Warhammer game, but there is not much light in this place, just relying on a single light bulb. So right now what I want to do is this. Trying to install a halogen light, so hopefully this way we're gonna have plenty of light. Este interruptor, que es el que apaga este, ¿ves? Me enciende también ese, que encienda los dos simultáneamente. Y no sé dónde conectarlo aquí para que funcione. It's the moment of truth. Both lights installed. Is it gonna work? Is it gonna explode? Oh, ¡ole! ¡Ole! Tenemos luz a tope. ¡A tope! Yes. Now, all I need to do is make an army list. Wonderful day in the mountains. Today is the game day. More or less everything is ready. There are a few things that I need to finish, like my army list. But yeah, everything is ready and the day looks absolutely beautiful. Yeah, well, I have to confess that making army lists is not something that I enjoy a lot. So if I can poach one from the internet or whatever, I'm going to do that. Oh yeah, I will. No shame whatsoever. But army lists for 5th edition are not that common on the internet, as we discussed before. But I still have an ace up my sleeve. Well, Pevida has just called me, telling me he's on his way over here. It is almost night. It's been a long day. A lot of things have been happening today. I have cleaned everything, getting ready for the battle. And honestly, I cannot make an army list. It is very difficult for me to concentrate on that. So what I did is I got the army list at the end of the book and I adjusted the things that I didn't have in my collection of elves. I think this game is going to be a lot of winging it and I don't care. I just want to see painted miniatures on the table and to have fun with my friend Pevida. So far we have discussed about how the game looks, we have discussed about the rules, we have discussed about list building. But there is one dimension that needs to be mentioned, and I have to make sure that you understand how important it is. Canción infernal. ¿Quieres que se te vea a ti?
No, digo que sea la mesa, joder. Que a ti da gusto verte, Miguel, pero parece un OnlyFans.
Absolutely important. Non-negotiable.
18 barberos, sin nada.
¿Barberos? ¿Has dicho barberos?
Barberos.
Esto te banean enseguida.
Es un engendrador, más que un
¡El engendrador! Is that both people came to have fun.
Qué tontería. Un carromati. Venga, pues 12 diablillas. Con música flautista.
De Hamelin.
Y andarte.
De Hamelin. Voy a poner aquí 6 yelmos plateados con el estandarte este de pollas, que no me acuerdo qué es. Not to win at all costs, just to have fun. They're gonna leave the table. Número 1.
Te vas.
30 hasta aquí.
Se va la puta.
Y luego me voy.
Bueno, bien, qué barbaridad de movimiento.
Qué barbaridad más bárbara,
Uf.
Ti, tiri, tiri, ti. Tiri, ti, tu puta madre. Joder, por el flanco, tío. Es que está rotísimo todo. ¿Qué fuerza tiene eso? Toda. Cuchillas y todo tiene.
Sí, te escuchas transparente.
Es que es horrible, los carros matan de todo, tío.
Es igual tiene fuerza 7, cara.
When I play with people like Pevida or many of my other friends. Durísimas declaraciones, Pevida. We usually have a great time. And I think the main idea is that we go there with the excuse of playing a Warhammer Fantasy game. But we end up saying just the most stupid things and just rolling dice for the sake of doing that.
Luego te lo editas.
Sí, sí. Sí, todo, lo voy a editar.
Mira, casi.
I think I never laughed so much making a video like when I made this one. Así se ha quedado el juego. So this is what we have at the end. These guys are dead. No,
pero ¿cómo
Flynn,
me espera?
Flynn.
Quita cartas, deja ahí un poco más guapo todo, hombre, que está hecho una mierda. Sí, hombre, por favor.
Vale, joder, vale.
Quita cartas, joder, déjalo bien.
Vale, joder, déjame hablar en inglés, tío. Uy.
No, pero tú hablas en inglés y otro por ahí dice, joder, no puede ser, es que...
Vale, Pevida, hostia. I need to clean up the table, according to him, okay? So I'll tell you now how it ended up. There is a button down there that looks like this and is for liking the video, and another one over here that is for subscribing to the channel. Silver Helms got back into the battlefield. This chariot didn't do much. This guy destroyed everything on sight. And these guys, even with a lame horse, killed a lot of stuff. Mage survived. Demonettes almost killed. That's basically what is left. Both of the elves and the demons. Pevida!
¡No!
Most valuable player.
Guardando los secretos.
Keeper of secrets. What is the thing that you like the most? ¿Qué te gustó más de la partida?
La compañía.
Me. ¿Qué es lo que te gustó menos?
No, me gustó todo.
He's lying. Everything is broken. Broken as f. Thank you very much for my supporters, for bearing with me and my slow pace making videos. Thank you, Pevida, for the great game that we had. And I have to say, the usual thing. My name is Miguel. This has been Rush the Wash. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Un beso. Adios.